Time is 5:30. Please be advised that a recording or broadcast of this meeting is being made at the direction of the board. Clerk Ruiz, please take roll.
Trustee Anguiano,
Present.
Trustee Martinez Lara,
Present.
Trustee Novales.
Present.
I am present, and President Troutman.
Present.
Please let the record reflect that we have a quorum.
Item 1.2, Pledge of Allegiance. We now invite our Cadet Corps to present the colors ahead of the Pledge of Allegiance.
Forward, march, left, right, left, right, 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 left, 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 right, 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 left, 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 right. March time, march. Other yard, up. Left, face. Peace and others.
Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Others. Right, face. Forward, march, left, 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 right, 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 left, 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 right, right, march, march. Up.
Thank you very much. We have missed that. Item 1.3, Adopt Agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda?
No changes to the agenda.
Are there any board requests to change the agenda? No? Okay. Do I have a motion and second to adopt the agenda as posted?
I move.
Second.
I have a motion from Trustee Ruiz and a second from Trustee Novales. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, the agenda is posted with a 5-0 vote. Item 1.4, Student Board Member Oath of Office and Report. We are excited to have this year's Student Board Member with us today. Before we get to hear from him, we will administer his oath of office. Okay, so we're just gonna have you repeat this. Okay. Let's see. I believe I'll read it and then you can repeat. Okay. So you can, I, Brian Calderon,
I, Brian Calderon,
pledge to fulfill my duties as the student representative
pledge to fulfill my duties as student representative
to the Banning Unified School District Board of Trustees,
to the Banning Unified School District of Board of Trustees,
serving as liaison between the governing body of the school district and all Banning students during the 2024-25 school year.
serving as the liaison between the governing body of the school district and all Banning students during the 2024-25 school year,
To provide insight and assist the board with decision-making on items that impact our students.
to provide insight and assist the board with decision-making on items that impact our students.
Administered this 12th day of September 2024.
Administers this 12th day of December 2024, September.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll have you sign.
Mhm.
Here. Here.
Start? Okay. Hey guys, my name is Brian Calderon Gutierrez, and I am honored to stand before you today as the newly appointed student representative on this board. As a student, I have experienced firsthand the challenges and triumphs that we all face in our educational journey. I have seen how our school strives to support every student regardless of their background, and it is this commitment to inclusivity and excellence that inspires me to serve in this role. One of my primary goals as your student representative is to focus on an issue that is close to my heart, supporting non-English speaking students in their journey to learn English. Language should never be a barrier to education, and I believe that by providing the right resources and support, we can help every student succeed, regardless of their linguistic background. I plan to work closely with teachers, administrators, and fellow students to develop programs and initiatives that will make learning English more accessible and engaging. By doing this, I hope to foster a more inclusive environment where all students feel empowered to participate fully in their education. I am also committed I am also committed to being a voice for all students, listening to your concerns and bringing your ideas to the table. Together, we can create a school community that not only excels academically but also supports the well-being and growth of every individual. Thank you for this opportunity to serve, and I look forward to working with all of you to make our school a place where everyone can thrive.
Well said. Item 1.5, I would like to invite Dr. Kazi Bush to the podium to introduce this evening's student presentations.
Good evening, President Troutman, Clerk Ruiz, distinguished members of the board, Superintendent Davis, and the Banning community. We have some special guests that I'm very excited to invite to the podium. I'm going to first begin with our ASB president at Nicollet Middle School, Caitlin Yang. Is Caitlin here? Come on down, Caitlin.
Good evening, Board President Troutman, distinguished members of the board, Superintendent Davis, and members of the planning community. My name is Caitlin Yang, and I'm Nicollet Middle School's 8th grade class president. I'm here to update you on recent and upcoming events at Nicollet Middle School. I'm excited to share how the school year has started at Nicollet Middle School. We rolled over our lanyard policy from last year, and it's been great seeing how easily everyone, especially the new students, have adapted to it. It's really keeping things organized and safer on campus. One program that continues to stand out at our school is Pack Track, which has been really successful since we started implementing it. It helps us stay on top of all of our end of the year requirements and keep things streamlined, making sure that everyone stays informed. We've also had some fun moments during the school day. One lunch period, we had a surprise flash mob with blow-up animals, which brought lots of energy and laughter to the campus. Everyone loved it, and we're excited to have more fun activities this year. When the weather gets better, our grade level class advisors will begin planning lunchtime activities. After school clubs are already underway with over 20 clubs available, ranging from the Kindness Club to Leadership and Lego Club. So there's something for everyone. While we were disappointed to miss out on the Stagecoach event, we can't wait to participate in the Christmas parade. Our first pep rally is coming up on October 2nd, and it'll have a basketball theme. We'll also be using it as a chance to remind our students about our PBIS expectations. One of our biggest accomplishments from last year is receiving the Gold Implementation Award for PBIS for the 2024 school year, and we're really proud of that achievement. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Coming up from Coombs Alternative, Anna Phillips.
Good evening, Board President Troutman, distinguished members of the board, Superintendent Davis, and members of the Banning community. I am Anna Phillips from Banning Independent Study School. I am honored to be this year's Coombs student speaker sharing our district message, "We are Banning." Here are some of our highlights. New Horizon and BIS had an awesome turnout for our back to school night on August 7th. Students and family members enrolled, signed contracts, received schedules, and met their new teachers and saw their new classrooms. Special shout out to Miss James and our link crew. She's our director. We also want to give congratulations to our New Horizons senior Nevaeh Hicks, who was selected as September's Banning Beaumont Student of the Month. During her speech at the honorary breakfast, Nevaeh encouraged all of us to be strong, even during situations that we've never experienced before. She said that we must have the mindset, we are strong, we can do this. Coombs Picture Day was on September 11th, which means great pictures for our campus IDs and yearbook. Our co-ed volleyball team has begun practicing and is looking forward to this fall season, especially since they have enough participants to field both a boys and girls team. Their first match was Friday, September 6th, and the team is off to a great start. Thank you, Coach Aha and Coach Taylor, for leading the team. PBIS, Pride Success New Horizon, earned a Platinum State Recognition Award from California PBIS. PBIS Pride rewards means improved academics and attendance. Weekly Pride tickets are cashed in for snacks and prizes and Pride. Thank you, Ms. Naranjo, for opening the PBIS store for us so quickly this year. Special thank yous to Jason Nutter and Miss Rose Pacheco for bringing their music and art programs back to Coombs this year. Students now have the opportunity to learn these elective credits. The esports club with Mr. Preventure has officially started this year. We are happy to say that CalFresh Healthy Living UCCE made their first visit on September 10th to help New Horizons students with their fall garden. Thank you for allowing me to share our news. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Caitlin. Also joining us from Cabazon is Paula. Joining us from Cabazon is our fifth grade student, Paula Martinez Rodriguez.
Good evening, Board President Troutman, distinguished members of the board, Superintendent Davis, and members of the Banning community. My name is Paula Martinez Rodriguez, and I will be talking about today my school, Cavazon Elementary. I am starting my final year as a fifth grader in Miss Coffee's class. Cavazon is a place where they prepare me to be respectful, responsible, and to be safe. Our monthly PBIS assemblies where they teach us about the 3 Bs. And we celebrate our dinos of the month and the birthdays for that month. We also have fun competitions where students go against the teachers. Sometimes they do sports competitions like football toss, dance battles, and fun holiday games. All the kids enjoy them, and we look forward to them every month. One of the things I like about school is the college days, where we get to dress up in college gear or colors and learn about a specific college that week. Another thing I like about my school are our first day orientations because I get to see my new teacher and my new classroom, and I even get to eat pizza. This is my brother's first year, and he had a kindergarten orientation where he got to meet his teacher and officially sign up as a Cavazon Dino. The students in kindergarten each got a large shirt with the words class of 2037 so they can take a picture with it up until their senior year in high school. Cavazon is a school where I am welcomed in the morning by Dr. Anderson, our principal, and I have breakfast with my friends since this is my last year. I am looking forward to our Halloween carnival and all the fun things we do as fifth graders, like go to Castle Park at the end of the year. Cavazon is my school and a place I like to call my second home.
Thank you so very much, Caitlin. And thank you, Anna, as I was looking on my sheet, reading it incorrectly. And last but certainly not least, representing our high school is our ASB president, Giselle Martin.
Good evening, Board President Troutman, distinguished members of the board, Superintendent Davis, and members of the Banning community. My name is Gisela, and I'm one of the student representatives here to speak on behalf of Banning High School. I'm excited to give you an update on the wonderful experiences we've had so far this year. The school year has been incredibly fun for all of us. We've already had numerous engaging activities, and the energy around the school has been fantastic. Our athletic success. Our varsity football team is currently on a 3-game winning streak. We're all excited for the next home game tomorrow, where I encourage everyone to come out and support the team. Cheerleading has been super vibrant this season, adding so much spirit to our games. Our golf team has been performing exceptionally well, showcasing their hard work and dedication. Our upcoming events, I want to highlight the Tennis Fest taking place on Saturday, September 14th. This is a fantastic opportunity for everyone to engage and support our players. Additionally, our girls flag football team will be in action on the same day, and we hope to see a great turnout. Just a couple weeks ago, we had our Club Rush and sports event, both of which were an incredible success. It was heartwarming to see so many students involved and excited in various clubs and sports. I want to take a moment to express how grateful I am to be surrounded by such an involved administration and office staff. Their support plays a critical role in fostering a positive school culture that encourages participation and enthusiasm among students. Thank you for your time today. I look forward to speaking with you about future events and how we can continue to support our students and enhance our school environment. Let's keep the momentum going for an even more exciting school year ahead. Thank you.
That concludes our student remarks for the evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you to all for speaking. Item 1.6, opportunity for community comments, closed session items. Did we receive any community comments?
We have one comment. Individuals who wish to address the board on matters which affect the district and its programs are requested to complete a request to address Board of Trustees card and submit it to the administrative assistant. Speakers are asked to limit comments to 3 minutes. While the board welcomes input from the community, they will not respond or take action during public comments. The board may decide to refer matters to the district staff or take under advisement for a future meeting. All speakers are reminded to be respectful and courteous.
I'd like to invite up Ms. Juana Lopez.
Good afternoon. All right. Let me start by saying, good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight on behalf of myself and my colleagues. Sorry. My name is Juana Lopez. I am a bus driver. There is much to say, but in 3 minutes, it's not enough. I will summarize this as much as possible. This is in regards to board management and office staff in transportation regarding Kenneth Page. Kenneth has violated our rights several times, makes his own rules, breaks the rules. I myself have been bullied, retaliated against, harassed. He has tried to intimidate me as well. Doesn't happen easy with me. I find it sad that when we go into the office, we need to have a witness because we have been accused of saying things that are not so. I have been patient, hoping for a new year, but it continues. It is a hostile environment. In April, I was taken out of my school bus and transported by ambulance because of the massive anxiety attack I had. It mimicked a heart attack. My body contoured, and most frightening thing I have ever in my life experienced. This is all to the stress I have endured. Many of my colleagues have negative experiences as well. I've asked for help. I'm still not getting it. My health is more important to me than what I have to endure, and not just myself. Under Kenneth Page and Tony, I have received complaints from other drivers. I refer them to Jennifer, but there is only so much she can say or do. This complaint also falls onto Diana Lara, dispatcher. She continues to make grave mistakes, expecting us to show her how to cover routes, how to route for the new school year. She's been here for nearly 3 years. She should have gotten it by now. Diana gets sub-drivers mid-morning routes as opposed to giving it to the senior drivers. On August 21st, not sure if anybody's aware of this, it affects us all in a negative way, especially the drivers. A 4-year-old child was dropped off at a stop that was not his. Diana never made the effort to leave her office to search for this child, not very far from transportation. Thank God for a good Samaritan who retrieved the child. This could have been gone so wrong. And another example, Class B drivers had in-service routes on September 5th. Calls were made, but no avail. Nobody answered in the office, couldn't get a hold of Diana, according to the person I spoke to. A van driver took the incentive and covered it. Diana's response, it was not my fault. If she's the dispatcher, it's her fault. It's not my job or other drivers to say, did you cover my mid-morning? Did you cover this? She doesn't get consequences. She doesn't get write-ups. Mr. Page, for whatever reason, he's been after me. I was out for nearly a year on a medical leave due to an injury I sustained here. I came back January 8th. First day, I was attacked. I don't know why. According to him, I came out yelling and screaming. He's put his witnesses on a note that it was a reprimandation. He later retracted. He forgot to put the other witnesses that were there. This has been a snowball effect since then. Tuesday, I was having another anxiety attack. I hate to take medication. I've been on 5 medications, one for anxiety, one for depression, one for stomach ulcers that I think I'm getting is what the doctor said. And it's sad. I love my job, not just myself, everybody. That's why we're here. We are passionate about what we do. And I'm here hoping that the board listens. I am not a Banning resident. I am not a Banning alumni. I travel myself and my best friend colleague from Yucaipa. Everybody pretty much is from Banning, other than 2 other drivers that are from Beaumont. I'm begging for something to be done. I invite all of you, if possible, to come down to transportation and speak to custodial, to the drivers. I'm at wit's ends. Not just myself, other drivers. They're crying, complaining. All I can say is cry about it. You don't want to end up in the hospital as I was. So with this, I implore that something be done. He said it last month in a meeting. He will never work in transportation again. Why is he still here? Something needs to be done, please. Because we are banning as the new logo of the school year. I don't see it happening. And it's sad to say that a lot of us don't want to be here. So if we are banning, we are not driving. If we are not driving, as I've been told in other meetings, this is a business. The money doesn't come in if the drivers don't bring in the students. And it's sad. So with this, I leave it. And I hope that there's a resolution to this. Because again, it's not just myself who is going through this. It's many other departments under, again, Kenneth Page, Tony. I just found out his last name because Ken would say, if you can't get a hold of Diana, don't get a call Diana, call me. If you can't get a hold of me, call Mr. Andrade, I don't know. I just found out who he was on Tuesday. And he says to call him. We don't even have his number. We didn't know who Andrade was. Or excuse, I don't know his last name. Similar. We just know him as Tony. Tony gets involved in our department. He likes to dictate as well. So again, thank you so much for giving me the time, and my colleagues as well. I appreciate it. I hope not to be here next month. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lopez. Okay. Item 2, closed session. The board will now go into closed session. The time is 5:59. Item 3, open session. We are back from closed session. The time is 7:30. Clerk Ruiz, please take roll.
Trustee Anguiano,
Present.
trustee Martinez Lara,
Present.
trustee Novales.
Present.
I am present, and President Troutman.
Present.
Please let the record reflect that we have a quorum.
Item 3.1, report from closed session. Clerk Ruiz, please share.
Item 2.1, in closed session, the board received information and was updated. Item 2.2 and 2.3, we will return to closed session later. Item 2.4 in closed session, the board received information and was updated. Item 2.5 in closed session, the board received information and voted on the following. In closed session, the Board of Trustees approved the appointment of Angel Mead for District and Community Relations Coordinator. Motion was made by Trustee Ruiz and seconded by President Troutman and carried on a 5-0 vote.
Oh, okay, it is on. Good evening, President Troutman, Clerk Ruiz, distinguished board members, Superintendent Davis, community. On behalf of the Banning Unified School District, Board of Trustees, and Superintendent Davis, we are excited to announce Angel Mead as the District and Community Relations Coordinator for the Banning Unified School District. Angel is an experienced communications and marketing professional. Currently, he is a communication specialist with the San Bernardino County Superintendents of Schools, creating communication strategies and managing events, and the champion director of creating communications for the Mosaic Legacy Foundation, overseeing the marketing and advocacy. He previously held roles at Riverside County Office of Education, managing logistics and events, and has been a digital production specialist at Mead Digital Productions since 2015. Angel has also served as the public information consultant for Moreno Valley Unified School District and marketing and communications coordinator at Strategic Medical Corporations. Please join us in welcoming Angel Mead to the Banning Unified School District.
Good evening. Board members, Superintendent Davis, executive cabinet members, and the Banning Unified District community. First and foremost, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude for this incredible opportunity to serve as the District and Community Relations Coordinator. I am honored to be welcomed into a district that prioritizes collaboration, diversity, and the development of responsible, respectful, and prepared students. Banning Unified School District's mission to foster a community that works together to help students reach their full potential resonates deeply with me. I am inspired by the district's vision to prepare, inspire, and educate, and I look forward to supporting these goals through my role. I'm excited to join this dedicated team here at Banning Unified, where I hope to contribute to the great work already being done, while also helping to build stronger connections within our community. Together, I know we can make a meaningful impact on the lives of our students and their families. Leaving the San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools, an organization that has been such an important part of my professional journey, is not easy. I will always be grateful for the experiences, relationships, and opportunities I had there, especially serving under the outstanding leadership of the County Superintendent, Ted Alejandre, and the instrumental guidance of my director, Jenny Owen. I would like to take a moment to recognize someone that has been incredibly influential in my journey, Dr. Judy White. She has not only taught me so much about leadership, but she has also exemplified what it means to be a true public servant. Her ability to lead with compassion, vision, and integrity is something I deeply admire and strive to emulate in my own career. Her mentorship has shaped the professional I am today, and I'm committed to carrying forward the lessons she's instilled in me to serve the Banning Unified School District with the same dedication and passion she has demonstrated throughout her career. I also believe the skills and qualities I have developed will be a valuable asset to the district. I'm eager to bring my experiences and passion for public service to this role, and I am confident that together we will continue to build a supportive, inspiring environment for all students, families, and staff. Finally, I want to acknowledge my incredible support system that has brought me to this point. My friends, my family, coworkers, and mentors, many of whom are here with me tonight. They have been a source of unwavering encouragement. I am grateful for each one of you and to those who couldn't make it, I thank you for your continued support from afar. In particular, I want to give a special thanks to my parents who have always supported me. Their sacrifices have allowed me to stand here today. I'm eager to get started, to learn from each of you, and to give my best to the students and families of this district. Thank you again for this opportunity, and I look forward to all that we will accomplish together. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mead. Item 3.2, opportunity for community comments, open session items. Have we received any community comments?
We did receive one, which you should have there. Individuals who wish to address the board on matters which affect the district and its programs are requested to complete a request to address Board of Trustees card and submit it to the administrative assistant. Speakers are asked to limit comments to 3 minutes. While the board welcomes input from the community, they will not respond or take action during public comments. The board may decide to refer matters to the district staff or take under advisement for a future meeting. All speakers are reminded to be respectful and courteous.
I would like to invite up Ms. Maria Lopez Torres to the podium.
Hello and good evening, Board President, members of the board, Mr. Davis, District Cabinet, and members of our community. I am here on behalf of the football parents of our community. I came last month and had asked about when lockers were going to be fixed for our football players and for the graffiti on the field. That was a month ago and they still have not been fixed. And our football players are using lockers that are broken. We as parents are asking if there is any way that we can get an update as to when those will be fixed and when the graffiti will be removed. It's embarrassing as trying to be banning proud, Bronco proud, and having our students deal with the kind of issues that they're dealing, especially with how they are being, showing all their might on the field and we are winning and what they're doing and yet have to return to broken lockers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Davis, can we get more information on that? Thank you. Item 3.3, BTA comments. I would like to welcome BTA President Anthony Garcia. Is he online?
He is not online, but he did send me an email with his comments that I will read right now.
Okay.
I am sorry I have to miss another meeting, but I just got home from a previously scheduled CTA conference. I am happy to report that we finally came to an agreement on our negotiations with the district, and it is something that we can live with. The only concern we still have that was not addressed is our SPED caseloads. Our program has changed twice in the last 2 years, and each time it has changed the working conditions of our teachers without negotiations. Unfortunately, this means we will have to go right back to the table once we get our new SPED director. I am also concerned that we are returning to the days of no child left behind and forcing our elementary kids into language, arts, and math only instruction. It is sad when kids get more PE instruction a week than both science and history. It didn't work 20 years ago and is a lazy solution to increasing test scores. It also begs the question, why are we wasting our time and money on NCEE if we are just going to ignore it all and go back to these outdated mandates?
Thank you. Item 3.4, CSEA comments. I would like to welcome CSEA President Jennifer Serrano.
Good evening. I'm Jennifer Serrano. I am the president of CSCA Banning Chapter 147. I am here just to let you know that we are very close in negotiations as well. We meet one more time on Monday to finalize it out. And we're just asking for parity with the teachers. I'm glad that they were able to settle and I'm pretty sure we're going to as well. So thank you for that. My other concern is you previously heard one of our members speak about the Director of MOT, Ken Page. You will see that there is way more members here today as a result of the treatment that they're enduring. As you can see, they're all out in numbers and it's only going to snowball. So we are begging and demanding something be done to correct whatever it is that's going on in that department. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Item 4.1, Superintendent's comments. Mr. Davis.
Good evening, President Troutman, members of the board, our student board member. Good to see you here, hanging out, okay? Remember about class in the morning, so make sure you balance all those things. Have a good crowd here tonight, so that's good. It's always nice to have our staff and our community in the space. So I want to start with just a few things. I want to thank Major Buckner, who always brings our students, and he's bringing elementary students, he's bringing middle school students, he's bringing high school students. They look good, they're polished, they do a great job. So I just want to thank him. He always doesn't get thanks, but he's out all over and representing our district and doing a great job. So thank you, Major. Next, there was a mention about Dr. Wolford leaving. So this is an item that's coming up on the consent item with this personnel item. And there are three names here. Robert Hicks, he's an AP at the high school, Dr. Barbara Wolford, and Dr. Michael O'Neill. And this is what I want to say about Dr. Wolford and Dr. O'Neill. They've been here for a long time. They put in a lot of time and they put in a lot of work into our space, into our kids. And when you do this kind of work, when you do this type of work, it doesn't mean that everyone's going to agree with you. And in fact, you have a lot of people that disagree with you. But that doesn't mean you don't stop and you don't do the work. From my perspective, it's more about listening. Do you listen to what's being said? And do you take that in consideration to try to do better? And that's all we should ask from each other, is how we grow and do a better job. But specifically with Dr. Wolford and Dr. O'Neill, they were here when I got here. And they went through a lot. They endured a lot over several years, and they've been here for this community. So I wanted to thank them for their service. With that being said, in the meantime, we do have a retired special education director, Lisa Kistler. If you just wave, Lisa. Lisa Kistler, yes, please give her a round of applause because she is, I mean, she's going to be paid, but she's not donating her time, but she has answered the call to assist us. Special education is a challenging department with a lot of hurdles and pitfalls everywhere you go. The people who work in special education work tirelessly to support students, to support staff. And so I just want to thank you for helping us out, Lisa. I want the board to see who you were. So in the meantime, as we go through our recruitment process, Lisa will be here. So that wasn't even really what I wanted to talk about tonight, but those, I had to get those out. So there's three things I want to talk about. So in the beginning of the year at the Welcome Back, I talked about the standard that you walk past is the standard you accept. I talk about the cleanliness of our campuses. I talk about that that's not a quote unquote just a custodial job. That's everyone's job to ensure that our campuses are clean. Who creates most of the litter? Okay, no answer there. Okay, so the people who create the litter are the people who should be picking it up. And who has that opportunity to assist in train and develop students? The adults. So if the adults model, the adults do it, it happens. And I have to tell you that we're in what, week 5? I'm not counting because I don't know what day it is, what planet we're on. I have no idea. But I will tell you one thing, our schools look good. The campuses look great. When you go to them, they look great. So I wanted to thank our students, thank our staff, thank the leadership for ensuring that happens, because that brings pride in our space. When we have clean campuses, it makes our students and our staff feel good about where we are. So I wanted to thank our staff for that. Next, I tape 60 Minutes and I'm not timing myself, I should be. I tape 60 Minutes just to see what's on there. And so this past weekend, they did an hour on 9/11. And I was able to watch that the other morning. And I have to tell you, I got goosebumps. Things just ran through my body as I watched that. That was 23 years ago. 23. And it went through the whole aftermath and what people went through. So that was travesty. There were 2,977 people that lost their lives that day. Yesterday was Patriot Day. So it's a reminder that things do happen. But when we come together and we support each other, that's how we move forward. So I will be remiss without saying that. I haven't done a good job about talking about that, but watching that 60-minute special, the commitment and dedication for several people who lost their lives to support others. We need to remember that. Finally, I want to talk about the local fires in our area. And I could talk about this for hours and hours and hours, but I'm going to try not to. So I just want to explain what happens when we have these events. As you know, last August, at the end of August, we had another weather event. Remember the tropical storm that was headed our way and everything was gonna derail? And Banning was one of the only schools in the area that stayed open. And so this is what I want to explain why that happened. It has nothing to do with the superintendent making a decision. It has to do with this. We look at so many different information to make an informed decision. So let me just list these off. The South Coast AMD, which is the Air Quality Management Division, they give us an AQI, which is the Air Quality Index. The Air Quality Index says what's in the air and how harmful that can be to a person. The National Weather Service, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the Weather Channel, the Alert California, where there's live cameras. There are 4 cameras right now sitting on mountains that you can see Banning. So you can see what's going on in the atmosphere. Been looking at that for days. The Riverside County Emergency Management Department, on-site administration and staff. Our staff and our administrators and our teachers, they do a great job of seeing something and saying, hey, something isn't right. We take all of that intel in. Our bus drivers, as appropriate. We ask them, hey, what's going on? They're out at the crack of dawn. There are eyes everywhere. We need Okay, sorry. Sorry, let me get my train back. Our bus drivers. So you're the first one out there. When I talked to Ken Page this morning at 4 something in the morning, I said, hey, make sure you ask the bus drivers, what are they seeing? Other district intel. We have a lot of people in our community. Cabazon is the most distant school. And I've learned this, I should know this, there's a grid when you look at that AQMD. Every school is within a mile of the district office. Every school except for Cabazon. And that one little grid tells you what the weather condition is. Is it good? Is it moderate? So we've been looking at that. That updates hourly. Our COE staff support, the Riverside Public Health. Yesterday, there was a county call with all the superintendents in the county, and the Riverside CAL FIRE was on there, Public Health was on there. There's a lady by the name of Misty Plum. Misty Plum works for the county, she works for Riverside County Public Health. When COVID happened, the call was with her every week. You remember that, Lisa? Every week, she was on informing the district, providing information so we can make decisions in challenging times. She was on the call yesterday, and this is what she said. She says school is one of the most important places that students can be. The upgrades that happened during the pandemic of filtration systems, of air filters, for the most part, and there may be some complications in this, a classroom that has the appropriate air conditioning is better than the air conditioning that you have in your home. So our students are in the safest place that they can be. We have to think about meals. As a parent, if we're going to close down school and the parents don't have any food at home, how are they going to feed their students? We think about the learning. We think about our school infrastructure. We also think about the counseling and the supports that we have. We have a lot of supports for students in school. So a decision not to close school is very cumbersome. It has a lot of details, but we don't make those decisions in haste. We do a lot of work to ensure our students are safe. So I just wanted to share that with you as we go through this challenge. The last thing I'm going to say about this, because I've learned this over the past couple of days, is that banning the pass area, they call it a pass area for a reason, right? It's this little, you got these mountains on both sides. The line fire, the smoke is coming down and it's in essence hugging the San Gorgonio Mountains. And so it just passes right by us and goes out to the desert. And on the south side, it hugs those mountains. And actually, when you look at Banning High School, there's a mountain range that starts down here and Banning is over here. The smoke actually enters in the middle and comes out. It is actually amazing to see. When you're up in the morning at the crack of dawn and you see the smoke and how it flows, it is amazing. But this is what I want to say. Banning is protected. Banning is protected. It's a pocket that is in our favor at this point. So I just wanted to share that with you because I know there's been a lot of inconvenience. There's been a lot of challenge, but it's you who come to work every day and show up and support our students. It was you last year when we had that tropical storm that came through who were here to support our students. So we couldn't do it without you. But just know we don't make those decisions in haste. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Item 5, consent calendar.
The recommendation is to approve consent calendar agenda items 5.2 through 5.5 as provided. All matters listed under the consent calendar agenda are considered to be routine and enacted by one motion and vote. There is no separate discussion of these items prior to the time the Board of Trustees considers the motion, unless a member of the board or administrative staff requests that specific items be discussed and/or removed.
Do we have a motion and second to approve the consent calendar agenda as provided?
I move to approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion from Ms. Anguiano and a second from Ms. Martinez Lara. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 6, special legal and discussion items, Cabazon Elementary School presentation. I would like to invite Dr. Anderson to share tonight's presentation.
Good to go, right? Okay, perfect. All right. Good evening, Board President Troutman, distinguished members of the board, Superintendent Davis, and the Banning community. I'm Dr. Anderson, and I'm here to present my school, the proud principal of Cabazon Elementary School. So this is year 3 for me, and what's new around campus? As you can see, if you've been on our campus, it's colorful playgrounds as well as murals. Thanks to Ken and MOT. They've done a wonderful job of the cosmetic of the school is just amazing now, just vibrant colors. The kids are welcome to a wonderful playground as well as new staff. We have Kirsten Carlson as our assistant principal who's there. We share her with Central as well. Renee Miller is our coach and intervention teacher, and you see that in the picture as well. She's working with our students, and we share her currently with Central as well. And then we have a new PE teacher, who's Kayla Boudreau. She replaced Avery Watkins, and she's really done a wonderful job of working with the students as well. And then we have a new school nurse as well, Elsa Rodriguez, who's taken the place of Erica Valdez. Some other things that we've done around campus new is we have PBIS activities, and I'll go into that a little bit later with our PBIS.
and focusing more on college and career readiness. If you've been to our cafeteria, you've seen that there's a lot of pennants, there's a lot of college, and getting the kids involved with understanding college and getting them career ready, as well as vocational schools too. At Cabazon, we are an Avid school. We have 95% of our staff trained in Avid strategies, and we focus on organization as well as higher level thinking skills. Costa's level of learning. I was talking at a staff meeting just yesterday, talking about depths of learning, Kaplan's depth of knowledge, and then also doing about Webb's depth of knowledge as well. And then our lessons in the classroom focus on Avid strategies as well as Wicker. And then we've made a plan for all of our after school events for the families to be focusing on Avid and celebrating all of our work with our Avid strategies. And then our final open house is just kind of a celebration of all the work that the kids have done. PBIS, we are a PBIS school. And if you listen to Paula's comments earlier today, her presentation, we do have a lot of fun activities for our monthly PBIS assemblies where the kids get to challenge and have fun with the teachers. And so it's nice. It's like we could use it as blackmail too for some of the teachers. They do put them in situations where they're dancing and having a good time. We do have a PBIS reward system where we focus on behavior as well as Avid organization. And we have a wonderful PBIS store. I know, Johnny, did you create it when you were there? But it's superb. It's amazing. So the kids get to go there monthly and use their points and then get to choose stuff from the store. And as I said, we have monthly PBIS assemblies where we have a sense of community for our school, where we celebrate monthly birthdays, celebrate our Dinos of the Month, who are a PBIS focus as well as an Avid focus. And another thing that I brought to the school was PBIS Passport Day, which is every trimester. The school sets aside an hour where we have a station for each center. So for example, we have the bus line, we have the cafeteria, we have the playground. So everybody knows this, the expectation. And I know Mr. Davis was there seeing the big rotations that we did throughout that trimester. So we do it every trimester. So we catch even the new students know the expectation of our school. So if you take a look at some of the pictures here, we do have for the Dinos of the Month, they spin a wheel and then they earn a prize. And if they earn on yellow, they'll have lunch with the principal. One thing that I credit for our success is our tier 2 and tier 3 support. We have monthly meetings and it's like the other schools as well. It features the SAI teacher, Vicki Elson, our school counselor, Jenica Barajas, and our PBIS coordinator, who is Renee Miller, and our SST coordinator. And those meetings are crucial in just finding kids and getting them the supports they need. And sometimes they're kids that aren't even in the SST process. It's more kids just like on our radar. And I think the school does a great job of locating those kids and just keeping them under our radar so they can have academic or emotional supports. And then it's also talking about use of outside resources as well. College and career readiness. As I said, we focus on Avid strategies and also college and Avid Wednesdays. So Wednesdays are our college days. So the kids either wear college shirts or the color of that school. So for example, this week was Cal Baptist. So a lot of the kids wore navy blue or gold to represent those colleges. And one teacher that we stole from Central, Renee Miller, she created some slideshows to get the kids to go on virtual field trips. So the kids will get to go to Cal Baptist, so they take a virtual tour of that campus so they get to see how college is like over on those campuses. And they do that every single week, focusing on rigor. And then the other thing that we did last year was focusing on Evening of Excellence. And what we did with that was we took all of the CAP scores of all the students and brought some kids back from Nicollet who had scored proficient or advanced in the CASP, as well as students who moved up bands. So it wasn't just the kids that were highly successful, it were the ones that were showed a growth mindset as well. And we have incentives for academic excellence and improvement. Parent involvement, that's one of the biggest things that we wanted to focus on. because Hoffer is more of the STEM school, and Central is more of the DI school. So I wanted to be more focused on being a performing arts school. So we're trying to get more involvement. We're bringing back the talent show that our school has as well. So we have AVID related school events, as well as bringing back the talent show, which was a fantastic thing that Renee Miller brought back. If you've ever come during Veterans Day, we have a great performance, and as well as Christmas. Christmas is the one of the best performances that we have. It's outdoors. We also have a turkey trot, and then we work with outside entities such as Morongo Outreach that provides clothing and things for our students. And as I mentioned, we have an evening of excellence where we celebrate our students and then also our dances as well. If you take a look at the pictures here, it was just like our dances, our evening of excellence, and then we have Jim Cogan who comes out and presents to our kids and does stories with them. Focusing on the data, if you take a look, keep in mind, we don't have official data now, so it's more of 2 years ago. In English language arts, we increased 57 points. And like I said, I credit that to our wonderful teaching that our teachers do. Really proud of the work they've done, as well as small group instruction, and then also the tier 2 and tier 3 supports that we do for catching those kids. Mathematics, we grew to 30 points. That was, keep in mind, 2 years ago. I'll go into this year's data, which is not official yet. And then for English language progress, we grew 16.2%. Academic engagement, our chronic absenteeism has declined 4.7. So we're improving in that. And I credit that to our dress-up days, our SARP process, our SARB process. I'm really excited what Dr. Merlot is bringing to the table, and I think that's going to even decrease even more. So kudos to him, and I think, like I said, we're going to improve in chronic absenteeism as well. So if we go into the data, I did this my personal self. So some of this this information is unofficial, but I was looking through the actual cast. If you take a look at the 2 years ago data, this is third grade. We had 18 students had standards met and 10 students that had exceeded in ELA. In mathematics, we had 19 students in third grade had standards met and 2 exceeded. This is unofficial data, so our scores did go down a little bit, came back to reality, but we had standards met 9 in ELA and standards exceeded, we had 4. And then mathematics, we had standards met 5 and we had exceeded 5. We did have a lot more students go through the SST process and go through special ed. We had a lot more special ed referrals during that year. So that kind of accounts to the drop a little bit. If you take a look at fourth grade, this is where you don't see with the numbers. If you take a look at last year's, or actually 2 years data, standard met for ELA, you had 10, you had exceeded, you have 2. But the growth that our fourth grade teachers, they were rocking it. The growth that the kids that they had 40 kids grow in ELA. That means that they could grow like from below basic to basic or from basic to standards met. So the amount of kids that were moving up in fourth grade were 40. In math, you had standard met 8 and exceeded, you have 2. And the growth, the more kids that were moving up were 36. So our fourth grade teachers are doing a wonderful job. And now the unofficial data, we had 13 kids meet ELA, 5 exceeded, and 27. So you're still seeing that growth. Those fourth grade teachers are still rocking it. They're still doing a fantastic job. And then for math, they have 14 met and 3 exceeded and 40 growing in math. So they're doing an excellent job in fourth grade. And that, like I said, is unofficial yet, but looking at the actual printouts that go to the parents, those fourth grade teachers are doing phenomenal jobs. Same with fifth grade. If you take a look at the fifth grade data, the 2 years ago data, you had standards met, you had 18, you had 9 exceeded, and a total of 40 kids that grew in fifth grade. Now, here's the thing that we're going to have to analyze as a staff. If you take a look at the math numbers are really, really low. So there's a big drop between third grade, fourth grade, and then there's a big drop in fifth grade. I'm hoping that the Irvine Math Project will help alleviate some of that problem. So if we take a look at standards met, they had 4, standards exceeded 3, and then the growth within fifth grade, you had 28 kids. Science is a little area we need to focus on as well. We had 8 standards met and 1 exceeded. Now looking at the unofficial data from last year, you had 15 met, 2 exceeded, and then also 30. So you're still seeing a lot of growth. I'm really proud of all of our staff, especially in test grade groups, our teachers, is because they're still teaching and the kids are growing. Standard met 1, exceeded 1, and the growth is 21. So if you take a look at that, that's eye-opening data that there's some kind of connection with the fifth grade, because it's like either it's harder questions or they're not applying their math facts. So that's the thing that we have to look at as a staff. And I want to ask the other elementary schools if they see the same trend. And then for standard met for science was 2. And so my overall goal for this year is more focusing on rigor and avid strategies, and then enriching a college and career readiness focus, having our college days, doing our virtual field trips, and then getting members from our community to do a career day. So getting kids not only college bound, but also vocational, thinking about vocational schools as well. And as you can see in the data, is improving our academic achievement and focus on mathematics. And I think working with Dr. Pendleton is getting that Irvine Math Project and also getting those kids either focusing on basic math skills or applying those so we can get our math scores up, and celebrating our academic success and continue to work with those students. And finally, increasing in parent involvement with special events, focusing on visual and performing arts.
Thank you
That was
very
it.
much. I saw on here, on one of your slides, you have a picture of one of the teachers that got some special recognition recently.
Oh, yes, Kathy
Ms.
Kaiser.
Kaiser, yes. I was very excellent to see her on there. She's done some great things.
Yeah, she's an amazing teacher. We at Cabazon, we have a lot of amazing teachers. I'm like I said, I'm blessed to work with so many professionals, and they just do a fantastic job with the kids. It's a really nice school where I landed. The families are great, the teachers are great. It's just an awesome school.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of the Urban Math Project. How many teachers are actively involved in that training?
As of today, because the one that missed it, we have 100% now at our school. So we're excited. So we're excited to look at the data and then also apply those skills and strategies and see what the next year's test scores look like. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Item 6.2, Student Services Department Presentation. I would like to invite Dr. Merlos to share tonight's presentation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Good evening, Board President Trotman, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Davis, our cabinet, our colleagues, and community that's here today. It's a pleasure to have the opportunity to present to you what our Student Services Department does. And being a fairly new department, we're excited because there's a lot of great things that are happening. Being a welcome to the community has also been great, and I'm loving it so far. Overarching goal for our department is, of course, to support the district mission, vision, and of course, to exemplify the values that we have here within our district, specifically the trust and respect, the teamwork, the integrity as well. And again, so far it's been great for our department. In addition, we make sure that we work with all of our departments to help support achieving our district goals and also our board priorities too. Now, as all of our departments within our district, we have a plethora of programs that we actually oversee. Now, I can actually spend the entire night going over each of these programs, but tonight we're going to focus on our two major initiatives, which really focus on our centralized registration processes and our attendance. Again, those are our two major priorities that we're working on. I also don't like a lot of writing on my PowerPoints. I'd much rather show you some visuals and some numbers because numbers will speak for themselves. But when it comes to registration, we are the first department that families that are new to the district get to meet. So we really focus on the customer service, getting our kids into school as quickly as possible. Of course, there are a lot of variables that dictate how quickly we can get them into our schools, mainly how many kids we have in the queue, how many kids registered. We've had days over the summer where we had 30 kids registered, and we've had days where 3 or 4 register. So all those influence what we're doing. Our registration process is all online, so our parents have to spend about an hour completing that application, that submission. And then they also have to provide us with some uploads of certain documents, such as immunization records, for example. So all in all, we then look at all this paperwork, we start placing kids at school, and what we've seen so far is that we're actually nearly to where we were expected to be at this point, which is great because it's very early in the year. We are expecting a few more enrollments over the next few weeks or so. So I'm pretty confident that we're going to be over our expected number of students for the school year, which is great. Right now, we're right below 4,300 students. This summer, we welcome a little bit under 600 new students to our district, which is also great. So again, the enrollment process is something that is ongoing for the entire school year. But then once we enroll our kids, then we switch over to the programmatic pieces. And as I mentioned earlier, our attendance initiatives are at the forefront of what we're working with right now. So why is it important? Well, I mean, real simple. If the kids are present in our schools, we can teach them. And I've been able to work with our principals. I've met quite a few of our teachers, definitely our classified staff. We're running some phenomenal programs district-wide. So our urgency is to get kids into the schools so we can provide them with our curriculum, so we can give them access to our resources. The other major concept is that we're trying to increase school connectedness. And school connectedness means that kids are coming to school because they feel safe, they feel that they're connected to the school, with their staff, with their friends. And it's an extremely important concept because when kids feel connected, they want to come to school. They know that being at school is the place to be. So we're working on that concept. And then, of course, we want to reduce our chronic absenteeism, and I'll speak on chronic absenteeism a little in more detail on the next slide. And then lastly, we want to increase our ADA, our average daily attendance, which has funding implications as well. And of course, that's important because as we bring in our funding, that's how we're able to provide resources for our kids. Now, chronic absenteeism, one of the reasons why I like to highlight it is because it is one of the metrics that is reported on the California dashboard. So it is public. This graph, what it shows you is that right before the pandemic, when the state started to keep track of chronic absenteeism, it creeped up a little bit for the first year, and then coming to the pandemic, it was very, very high. And this was a trend not unique to Banning Unified. This was a trend statewide, nationally. And over the last couple of years, we've been picking at it, and it's going down. For last school year, we're estimating that our chronic absenteeism will be around 27%, which is a little bit over 7 percentage points below from the previous year. And of course, with our emphasis on attendance again this year, we're hoping to really, really take that number down, well below to pre-pandemic numbers. Now, again, when it comes to attendance initiatives, I can spend hours talking about it, but here are some of the strategies that we're working with our sites to support positive attendance. We're making attendance a priority district-wide. We're breaking down data down to the student level. So there are queries that we can run that we can really target the kids that have 10% attendance absenteeism, 20%. So we're able to target individual students, individual families, and provide that support. we're making attendance part of our reward system. Again, all of our schools have PBIS programs, and we're emphasizing that with some funding that's coming as well. And then just as importantly is the progress monitoring, which for some reason in attendance we tend to not do. Dr. Anderson showed us a lot of data on the academic side. Well, in this instance, there is a lot of progress monitoring that we need to do. We are not going to wait till the end of the school year to know what our chronic absenteeism is or our ADA. We are really looking at it on a monthly basis. I'm looking at it almost on a daily basis as well. So that way principals in our district can actually make decisions to really improve those processes as well. And I know that our board had access to our monthly attendance report that we're preparing for our principals. Those are going to be coming on a monthly basis as well, so we can make adjustments. And then, of course, we get into our two attendance recovery programs, our Saturday Academy that will be starting next month, and then our short-term independent study and long-term independent study programs, which are also going to really help us to chip down at that chronic absenteeism and also help support kids and get them reconnected with our school too. And then, of course, we have our SART and SART process, which are state mandated supports that we do as well. But as you know, as we just ended our first month of attendance, all these initiatives are being executed at the site. So it really comes down to our principals doing a great job, our teachers promoting it, our classified staff as well. And we're already seeing some improvements, which is great to see. So far, our chronic absenteeism is already down around 7 percentage points just in the first month. And we're going to continue to provide these supports to, again, be as great as we can be. Now, I wanted to highlight Saturday Academy. We will be having 8 sessions, and our principals and our schools have done a great job over the years at supporting Saturday Academy. The goal is to, once again, reconnect kids to school and provide some type of academic enrichment. And as you see there, I'm highlighting Hemmerling. They've done a great job at creating these beautiful flyers that are attracting kids to come to their Saturday Academy. And it's a system that we're going to continue to work through the entire school year. Most school districts only have 4 or 5 sessions. We're doing 8, and we're going all the way down to May because we are willing to work for our kids to ensure that, again, they're achieving. Now, training, having these conversations, making it part of what we do is extremely important. So we meet with leadership, we talk about these systems. We have also assembled what I call a district attendance team, which is really comprised of all of our classified staff that are at the site, really actively involved with the attendance pieces. So they're actually getting trained firsthand by my office, and we're meeting about once a month. But this first month, we actually met 3 times because there were so many things that we needed to talk about and implement. And you can see that every school is represented. A lot of schools have multiple individuals there. We've had some assistant principals attend these meetings. Again, they're informational meetings. They're meetings where we talk about what's working, what's not working. It is truly a professional learning community, and we're going to continue to have these systems so that way what we are implementing is sustainable. And then the last piece in regards to sustainability, I am big on having written procedures. This is just an example of an attendance and enrollment procedures that we're building. This is going to be a manual that is always in flux. It's a living document that we will be continuing to support. But again, anybody who's dealing with attendance when enrollment will understand the pieces that are within it. And this is just one plan. As you saw, all the duties that come out of our offices, there will be some type of written procedure plan so that way, again, it's sustainable and we can better support not only our district goals, but also our school goals, and of course, support student achievement. Thank you. That's it. And recognize someone on the pictures?
Sorry?
Do we recognize somebody on the pictures? Oh, we do. Oh, that was TK. Okay. All right. See, luck was on my side.
I do have a question.
Yes.
Okay. What is the process? At what point do parents get contacted if a student misses? What's the number of days?
So for daily absences, they get contacted on a daily basis. We have an automated system that sends robocalls, but also that attendance team that I showed you, they're also making personal phone calls because we want to excuse the absence. We want to know why the students are absent. Now, through the SARB and SARB process, we send automated letters once a student misses 3 school days. At the beginning of the school year, it's a little crazy because our digital platforms have to connect with each other. And as we're moving kids, adding kids, sometimes that connection doesn't happen. I've heard, for example, that some parents are getting phone calls that their kid was actually in school. So we're trying to fix those little kinks, but parents should expect phone calls on a daily basis when their kid is out.
So on top of the automatic robocalls, they'll get a personal phone call from
That's
someone?
correct, yes. Now, it depends on the day. Monday was a really bad day for attendance because of everything that was going on. Again, the capacity of our staff at the sites, if you have 10 kids absent, I'm fairly confident that 10 kids get a phone call. If you have 50 kids absent, they may not get to all of them, but they do try to contact them within that day or within the 24 hours. Go ahead.
I have trouble believing that.
Mhm.
Just from personal experience, my son was out for several days for medical purposes, and I never once got a call.
You didn't get a robocall either?
No.
Not even that. So again, at the beginning of the school year, we're gonna fix those systems, but the system is to give you a call within that afternoon, at least a robocall, and then our staff within the site is making phone calls constantly.
Have we started doing that, or was that late to start, or?
It was late to start, but again, even just last week, I got a report that some parents whose kids were actually present were getting those robocalls. So we're trying to figure out what's going on with the system and connecting with Aries. The system that sends the robocalls is different than Aries, but it gets the information from Aries. So it's something it's missing there.
Yeah, I think we need to dig further into that before we start saying. you
I
get
got
calls.
multiple. I got phone calls, the robo one, the personal, and then I got an email from my kiddos when they were absent
Okay.
Recently?
last week, if I'm not mistaken.
So we will look into it, but we know that at least with the robocalls, we do know that there are some kinks already there, but I will definitely verify
Well,
the
I
personal phone
was
calls
just
too.
curious because last year I always, like clockwork, got texts or the robocalls, and then this year, nothing. So
And that's how it should be. So I'll research your school and see what's going on, see if it's at a specific school. But we'll definitely get those kinks out. So you should be getting a phone call and a text message every time your kid is out on that same day.
thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions?
Just out of curiosity, how does it work if a child is present, like at the middle school or at the high school for a few periods and then goes missing for one and is back in school? Like if they ditch a certain class, does parents still get a notification of some sort or?
Yes, so at the secondary, if you're out a particular period, the system will send you a phone call regarding that as well. When it comes to overall attendance, as long as they're there for part of the day, they're considered present. Mhm. All right, well, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Item 6.3, Business Services, 2023-24 Unaudited Actuals Financial Report.
This item is for the board to approve the 2023-24 unaudited actuals financial report.
Is there a motion and second to open and discuss item 6.3?
I move. I move.
I second.
Thank you.
Good evening, President Troutman, Clerk Reese, distinguished board members, Superintendent Davis, members of the cabinet leadership team, and the community banning joining us here in person and those joining us through the wavelengths. Today, I have the pleasure of presenting the 2023-24 unaudited financial report. These are the financial positions, final accounting of the last fiscal year. And before really getting into some of the thank yous here, I want to highlight, and it seems like today is Cabazon's day for some reason. We do have student Mia Jimenez Huerta here at Cabazon illustrated on this page, which is also the student that would be featured on all of the Measure O district facilities bond initiatives in terms of the FAQs and the mailers that are going out. So definitely a great thank you also for Dr. Kazi Bush for just capturing this moment just so pure and just very, very beautiful. And so just moving back to the actual presentation, I do want to thank all the school sites and departments. This is really a culmination of last year's efforts when we talk about operations and financial management. And I would like to especially recognize the continuous improvement, adaptability, and just overall flexibility of the fiscal services department. There's been a lot of transitions within the staffing. There's been a lot of changes coming in from very different angles, not only internally, but also externally, state, federal agencies. So definitely kudos to the team to really stepping up to the occasion and really trying to move forward with some of the challenges that we get presented with on a day-to-day basis. And so getting straight into the unaudited actuals, get into why we call it unaudited actuals just a second. It is a culmination again of actual revenues, expenditures, fund balances, assignments, and commitments. It is the final accountant of the district's final position as of June 30th, 2024 in this case. It is recommended for approval by the board, has to be approved by September 15th, which is just a few days from today. And what really happens through this process is that we then roll over those ending balances from last year into then the beginning balances of the new fiscal year. And these are considered unaudited at the point of actual expenditures and revenues. We have been going through an audit process that starts from spring, ends about the fall, and the final report would be provided to the State Controller's Office by December 15th and provided as a presentation to the board in January of 25. Hence the name unaudited, because they're still pending being audited. And into the illustration here that I'd like to show to the board is where we're at any given point in time. And today we are really at the 2 o'clock hour here. And I just want to make mention here in reference to the cycle, because we've already started the new year, just finalized last year. And before we even get to the final audit report for last year, we've already gone through first interim and the governor's budget proposal. So it's a bit of a timing kind of approach that we have to keep in mind when we talk about these two different fiscal years. Again, we're looking in arrears at this point. And to that point, the actuals is the only report that looks back in time. It's based on actual information versus projections, right? Such as the proposed adopted budget back in June, first interim in December, second interim in March. Those are all based on a set of assumptions. And so I'll now hand it over to Mr. Ramos to get more into the details of the unaudited actuals. Thank you.
Good evening, Board President Troutman, Clerk Ruiz, esteemed Board of Trustees, Superintendent Davis, colleagues in the banning community. I'm Eddie Ramos, co-presenting with Mr. Herrera. So during the regular school year, when we're presenting first interim and second interim financials, our eyes are really tiny looking at those numbers. But at the end of the year, conducting the final accounting, our eyes get really, really even tinier, if that's possible. So within governmental accounting, the district establishes specific funds for a purpose. For example, we have the general fund, which accounts for the majority of transactions. We also have an adult education fund, a child development fund, cafeteria fund, for example. And so in this slide, it's an illustration of how to point your attention to specific components of each fund report. Now we have revenues, expenditures, and the revenues minus expenditures, you get a net increase to the fund balance. So that's if your income is more than your expenses, then you have some money left. Now you consider your beginning fund balance. That's how you started your year out. And then your ending balance, you deduct out any restrictions, commitments, or assignments to arrive at the reserve for economic uncertainty, or known as the ending fund balance, or some may refer to it as the district's safety net. Now, The general fund is composed of revenues, expenditures. And so just to touch a little bit and highlight some of the revenues and some of the changes, we take a look at when we presented the budget and estimated our expenditures for the 23-24 year at the June board meeting. We looked at all the financials and said, this is where it looks like we're going to end the year. Now that we've done that final accounting, we do a comparison. So we look closely at each and every account to see, okay, we said we're going to end at this dollar amount. We ended at that same dollar amount or something a little bit different. And then we conduct a full analysis. Some of the things that we found that are significant, and we drill down a little bit in detail on a future slide, is some unexpected increase in interest. Now, as you all may know, interest rates are really high in the economy. Consumers are facing that in their personal business. And so with the Riverside County Office of Education, they hold the district's funds. We were notified that we received quite a bit of interest. Now, Mr. Herrera is going to drill down a little bit, but that's something significant that we found. So as the economy is seeing really high interest rates, the district's funds in the treasury earned a higher amount of interest as a result. Now, something that's in this report as well is the fair market value increase of cash. So as part of governmental accounting standards, we look at the cash value at the end of the year. We book an accounting transaction. And then when we move into the new year, we clear that same accounting transaction. Now, in terms of expenditures, we did have some expenditures we anticipated on being completed that actually flowed into the following year. And some of those include some supplemental and concentration expenditures. We had the fitness equipment at the high school. It could have been done around June-ish. It ended up getting started in July. And so those funds are going to carry over into the 24-25 fiscal year. And so during that final accounting, we also look at the one-time funds to see what expenditures qualify to be moved into those specific funds. And as one of our priorities is using those one-time funds first. They are the most restricted in nature, but if there are expenditures that fit within there, we will process an accounting transfer to utilize those funds first. Now, within the commitments, we were able to make adjustments to allow for the reserve for economic uncertainty to remain about the same. So within the graphic on the left at the far bottom, you'll notice that the change to the reserve for economic uncertainty is very small at a 0.11%. Some of the other requirements that we worked through at year end is making sure that we're meeting the requirement of the special ed maintenance of effort. And so what that requires is that the district spend at least $1 on the special education program compared to the prior year. And so we look very closely, the Fiscal Services Department goes through all of the special ed expenditures to make sure that they're coded appropriately. And it's really a nice detailed look at those expenditures. And that can be displayed in the SACS form SEMA, and that's a special ed maintenance of efforts. Now, also we have the current expense formula, and this is a requirement that was introduced in 1964, and it requires 55% of the district's general fund expenditures to be spent on classroom salaries, classified or certificated. And where it gets a little complex is that we now have the local control accountability plan that was introduced in 2013, which says you also need to provide pupil support services in addition. And we're also making some maintenance upgrades. So that it's a delicate balancing act in looking at what are our classroom expenditures and what are those other pupil services as defined in the LCAP. And so at year end, those are some of the things that we are focusing on just to make sure we're meeting all of these formulas, which we are currently meeting those formulas. Now I'll hand over the presentation so Mr. Herrera can review the general fund summary.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ramos, for that very thorough explanation. I think that part of the message that I would like to reiterate is just some of the complexity that we've had to, not just here at Banning, but all districts across the state in terms of just certain requirements that no longer really fit to the current way that we get funding and how dollars are spent. However, we still have to meet those obligations, and we made all reasonable efforts here to make those adjustments and make sure that we have a successful closing of the 23-24 books. So this is now looking at the unrestricted general fund a little bit more in detail and really allows us to see at a very simplistic perspective, the just changes of what we were estimating back in June versus what the final accounting resulted in as of June 30th, which is now September. It does take us that long to go ahead and review every single account and go through the closing process. We do have that increase of $2.9 million there on the top right corner. That is, the majority is due to the interest that Mr. Ramos spoke of. And it's not just the interest itself. We are sitting at an all-time high, relatively speaking, of cash balances, different from budget, and we can get into that conversation another day. But in terms of the balances in our county reserve, in the county treasurer, we do have program dollars for the Expanded Urban Opportunity Program, Prop 28 school music in schools, educator effectiveness, learning recovery block grant, and the arts music instructional block grant. So through all of these different grants and dollars, restricted dollars, if you may, that are in the process of being developed in terms of a plan and moving forward with those expenditures, they've been sitting in the bank essentially, right? And they've been accruing this interest. And this interest is typically negligible to districts and is quickly overseen, right? In this case, we looked at it whereas we're closing the books and we said, Mr. Ramos, let's get the county on the phone. Is this accurate or not? Because it was 7 times the amount that we received the year before. And even the year before that, it was probably a good 12 times the amount, just because again, increase in interest rates, increase in cash in the bank means more revenues for the district, unexpected, and it's also considered one time in nature and cannot be dependent on moving forward. So just wanted to go ahead and highlight that. And so going down through the calculation, do want to make reference to the overall X's as it relates to estimated actuals, which was back in June. That's an additional $3.5 million. And please remember that figure for just a second. It'll come up in just one more slide here. Overall, we were able to maintain the same reserve for economic uncertainties as expected back in June. Of course, more dollars. There's some balancing here in terms of how the budget was finalized for last year, and I'm going to get into that in just a second. And so that $3.5 million that I just brought up seconds ago is all in these figures here. And these are the components of the fund balance, also known as, in other reports that you've seen, the Budget Refers Transparency Report, which includes the assignments. They're made up out of fair market value, which is a interesting accounting transaction that I don't necessarily agree with, but it's okay. We have to go ahead and process it and recognize it. Lottery carryover, school-based administrative activities. And so those dollars there are in assignments. That's $221,000. Now, if we go all the way to the bottom there at $3.3 million, the difference between estimated and unaudited actuals, altogether, that then is the total of the 3.5 million. So in terms of all of the excess revenues, minus the decrease in some of the expenditures, it's all recognized on this particular table here. And some of the commitments that the district leadership has prioritized due to the one-time excess of resource for the 2023-24 school year is to continue to focus on our labor relations, also facilities improvements, and reestablish some of the school site and department budgets that were scaled down due to the future budgetary constraints in terms of expenditures over our revenues. And so I'll go ahead and turn it back over to Mr. Ramos to take us home.
So very often we talk mostly about the general fund because the general fund carries the majority of expenditures. But we do have other funds that we'd like to highlight that had some significant changes. So Fund 8 is established to report the ASB or Associated Student Body Funds. And so the balances within all associated student bodies across the districts is $195,000. Within child nutrition, the Child Nutrition Fund, we have an additional balance of 278,000. Now, there were a couple of grants awarded to the Child Nutrition Department, which include the Supply Chain Assistance and the Best Practices grant. And so those funds are going to allow the department to form some best practices and incorporate some practices to get the best meals for our students. Now, within the deferred maintenance fund, we did spend a little more down, and that's on some of those maintenance projects. Now, the building fund, some of those expenditures were anticipated for the 23-24 fiscal year, but kind of similar to the supplemental concentration, they're flowing into the 24-25 fiscal year. Some of those projects include the HVAC for the career tech ed programs at Banning High School, as well as the shade structures for the automotive yard. So we were anticipating them being finished in 23-24, but they're going to carry over into 24-25 and be completed in the current fiscal year. So the next steps are going to be for the school board to approve the unaudited actuals final report. Now, after this state, our district's auditors come in and they audit the financials. So they do a full review and analysis of all of the numbers that the district put together. And I think it's kind of fun that the auditors chose to come to the district office on October 31st on Halloween. So I did have a conversation with the audit manager and told them they're going to need to dress up. If you want to visit us and audit our books on Halloween, come dressed. So one of them said they might come dressed as an auditor because it's kind of a little scary, but we'll see. We'll see. So additional steps after that is the audit report will be completed and submitted to the state controller's office by December of 24. And the audit report will be presented to the school board in January 25. And also in December of 24, we'll be presenting the first interim financial report where we start on the current budget year and just making all our adjustments, tightening up those budgets and expenditures. So in this picture, we feature Central Elementary, which is our largest elementary. The kids look like they're really enjoying their meals. But you'll notice that Central Elementary does not have a cafeteria, and this kind of leads into the district's effort for that bond, because the district's been around for many, many years. However, the district does have a lot of needs for our students, and one of them does include a cafeteria and many upgrades. So we will now take any questions you may have.
I just have a really quick question about nutritional services. When you're talking about cutting on nutrition services, are we looking at the healthiest or just the least expensive? Are we looking at what kind of food are we serving? I mean,
And so Mr. Pulsifer went and provided a very thorough presentation last month. In this particular site here, is not necessarily there's been a cut in anything per se. There's usually the reconciliation of revenue. So it is a combination of additional revenues and expenditures that did not materialize. However, there hasn't been any major changes in the overall food quality. As a matter of fact, we're moving into a scratch cooking basis of providing meals that requires us to have at least 40% of our output be from scratch cooking or some kind of scratch cooking method. And so just wanted to highlight here that yes, there is an overall increase to the fund balance in Fund 13, but it's not at the cost of taking anything away from our students.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? No? Thank you very much. I have a motion from trustee Novales and a second from trustee Anguiano to approve item 6.3. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 7.1, educational services, school plans for student achievement.
This item is for the board to approve the school plans for student achievement for Cabazon Elementary, Central Elementary, Hemmerling Elementary, Hoffer Elementary, Nicollet Middle, Banning High, Banning Independent Study, and New Horizons.
Is there a motion and second to open and discuss item 7.1?
I move.
I'll second.
Any discussion or questions? No. I have a motion from trustee Martinez Lara and a second from trustee Novales to approve item 7.1. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 7.2, Educational Services, Proposition 28, Arts and Music in Schools, 2023-24 Annual Report.
This item is for the board to approve the Proposition 28 Arts and Music in Schools 2023-24 Annual Report.
Is there a motion and second to open and discuss item 7.2?
I move to open and discuss.
I'll second.
Any discussion or questions? Okay, I have a motion from trustee Ruiz and a second from trustee Martinez Lara to approve item 7.2. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 7.3, Educational Services, 2024-25 Student Trips.
This item is for the board to approve school sites to attend, participate, and represent Banning Unified District in various in-state, out-of-state, and/or overnight student trips during the 2024-25 school year. Contingent that each request be individually considered and approved by the Assistant Superintendent of Academic Services.
Is there a motion and second to open and discuss item 7.3?
I move to open and discuss.
I'll second. Any discussion or questions?
I just had a quick question. What field trip is the one to the Yucaipa Regional Park? Is it the boats, the solar boats? Okay, just curious.
So all of these are for the high school, right?
Sorry about that. Yes, these are some examples. There may be some elementary trips that may also occur. For example, if we were to be able to take students to the history fair if they made it to the state level.
I was about to ask, do we have anything on the books yet for the other schools, elementary or Nicollet?
Not at this time, but once those do come, they would be covered under this agreement.
Let me clarify that. So these are overnight or out-of-state trips. The other trips, they may be scheduled at the site, but this is specifically for that, for board approval.
Any other questions or comments? No. I have a motion from trustee Ruiz and a second from myself to approve item 7.3. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 8.1, Human Resources, Employee Contract Extensions, Assistant Superintendent, Educational Services.
This item is for the board to approve the employment contract renewal for the Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services.
Is there a motion and second to open and discuss item 8.1?
I move.
I second.
Any discussion or questions? I have a motion from trustee Anguiano and a second from trustee Ruiz to approve item 8.1. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 8.2, Human Resources, Employee Contract Extension, Assistant Superintendent, Business Services.
This item is for the board to approve the employment contract renewal for the Assistant Superintendent of Business Services.
Is there a motion and second to open and discuss item 8.2?
I move.
I'll second. Any discussion or questions? No. I have a motion from trustee Novales and a second from myself to approve item 8.2. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 9.1, Business Services, Resolution Number 25-009, GAN Limit.
This item is for the board to adopt the GAN limit resolution number 25-009, establishing the maximum appropriation limitations for public agencies as adopted in Proposition 4 in November of 1979.
Is there a motion and second to open and discuss item 9.1?
I move to open and discuss.
I'll second.
Any discussion or questions?
I think we had our answers already. Thank you.
All right, I have a motion from trustee Ruiz and a second from trustee Martinez Lara to approve item 9.1. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 9.2, Business Services, Resolution Number 25-010 regarding the Education Protection Account, EPA.
This item is for the board to approve the annual fiscal resolution number 25-010 regarding the education protection account.
Sorry. Is there a motion and second to open and discuss item 9.2?
I move to open and discuss.
I'll second.
Any discussion or questions? Okay, I have a motion from trustee Ruiz and a second from trustee Novales to approve item 9.2. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 9.3, Business Services, Resolution Number 25-008, Applications Received Beyond Bond Authority List.
This item is for the board to adopt resolution number 25-008, applications received beyond bond authority list.
Is there a motion and second to open and discuss item 9.3?
I move.
I second.
Any discussion or questions? No. I have a motion from trustee Anguiano and a second from trustee Ruiz to approve item 9.3. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 9.4, Business Services, 2023-24 Annual Developer Fee Report.
This item is for the board to review and approve the annual developer fee report for fiscal year 2023-24.
Is there a motion and second to open and discuss item 9.4?
I'll move.
I second.
Any discussion or questions? Okay. I have a motion from trustee Novales and a second from trustee Ruiz to approve item 9.4. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 9.5, Business Services, Notice of Completion, Nicollet Middle School.
This item is for the board to approve the notice of completion for the Banning Unified School District Office Asphaltic Concrete Removal and Replacement Project for Nicollet Middle School.
Is there a motion and second to open and discuss item 9.5?
I move.
I'll second.
Any discussion or questions? Okay. I have a motion from trustee Anguiano and a second from trustee Novales to approve item 9.5. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 9.6, Business Services, Contractual Agreements.
This item is for the board to approve and/or ratify contractual agreements as provided.
Is there a motion and second to open and discuss item 9.6?
I move.
I second.
Any discussion or questions? Okay, I have a motion from trustee Anguiano and a second from trustee Ruiz to approve item 9.6. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 9.7, Business Services, Monthly Fiscal Services Reports.
This item is for the board to approve monthly fiscal services reports. bank reconciliations, purchase orders, warrant summary, and commercial warrant registers.
Is there a motion and second to open and discuss item 9.7?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Any discussion or questions?
I do have a question, and this was one on our questions about the bills being so high. And I noticed that, and I don't have the exact numbers, but I noticed that some of the, I think it was Nicolette was really high. And I know that we're working on the solar system. So, and it's also water and electric and sewage disposal. But do we have kind of a timeline on how that's going to be? And have we looked at, I think it was Nicolette that was so much higher. I thought something like 783,000 or something. So do we have some kind of an idea of maybe there needs to be more insulation? What, because there was one of them that was markedly higher. So could we
Right.
just kind of get an update on that?
And so at Nicollet Middle School, relatively speaking, is one of the larger schools. Also, some of the equipment is a little bit more dated, and therefore drawing additional electricity. And so in terms of just expenditures overall, we did project a slight increase of about $200,000 in utilities, specifically electric, water, and water sewage, expecting an overall increase year over year based on just the industry standard. But relative to last year, we're up to par. But to your point, though, yes, the solar panel project is something that we're still working through, and we're very, very hopeful based on all of the developments in the recent months to have it back connected by the spring.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
And there's no mitigation as far as Nicolette in order to reduce any of that?
At the moment, no, we haven't initiated
much
any
better, right?
green initiatives to do so. However, something that we've discussed as a team, that it would be good for all of the district campuses to move forward with green initiatives. They could ultimately reduce expenditures overall. Also part of should measure OBON pass is looking at some of our control systems and lighting systems to be able to have automatically turn on, off, as opposed to having manual systems that sometimes aren't looked at as often as they should. So definitely, energy management is something that we're going to have in mind as we secure the dollars moving forward, hopefully.
One of my concerns is the outdated grid that is continuing. And so it's not just a matter of cost, it's a matter of function.
Absolutely, and it's been one of Mr. Ken Page's observations in the overall infrastructure, especially as we are entering an electric vehicle era very, very soon. So definitely something that is on our radar and making sure that we're leveraging all district resources to maximize the infrastructure and reduce overall expenditures as well.
And we're educating the employees there as far as being more conscientious. I'm not saying it's their fault, but
in
I'm
terms of
just-
the maintenance staff, yes, that they're working through any changes specifically. If we do go EV, is how to manage EV. Still haven't really gone through the electrical vehicle kind of infrastructure yet, but definitely something that we'll do moving forward and maximizing the efficiency. So we do have certain control systems that they're very proficient in, just they're outdated systems.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? I have a motion from trustee Novales and a second from trustee Martinez Lara to approve item 9.7. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item 10.1, board members' comments. Would anyone like to start? Yes.
Hi, good evening. I would like to welcome you, Brian Calderon, to the days, and we look forward to this year with you. Angel Mead, I know he left already. And is it Dr. Kessler? Am I saying her name wrong? Lisa Kessler, thank you for joining our team and helping us get through this interim period. I want to thank all of you. It has been a rough, crazy week. And so thank you for all of your dedication and coming to work and being here for our students and our staff. Mr. Davis, I want to thank you. I don't know how you are still awake right now, but I appreciate you and everything that you've done this week. So let's just keep trudging on because we are banning.
I'll go next. Good evening. Again, I want to echo what Ms. Ruiz mentioned, welcoming our student board member and our interim special education director. I lost my train of thought. And then our new hire, Angel Mead, I'm really excited to see what work he does for our district as he continues to spread all the wonderful things that we are doing with our students. I know this week was very challenging with the fires and the health concerns, so thank you everyone that worked so hard to ensure that our students are safe. I know it's not easy, even as a parent, but I know that we're able to get through so much because we do have our heart in the right place, right? I also want to share that I was able to attend our first football game, and the inflatable Bronco head at the game was really exciting. My kids were so excited, wanted to go through the tunnel, and just the excitement of seeing the team going through it. So thank you so much for the Banning High School Booster Club. I know the ladies have been working really hard. Our cheerleaders did great. They even had like a halftime performance, so that was neat. And our football team has been doing amazing. So I hope that they continue with their winning streak. I know they seem very excited, and we're excited for them because I know that our students can do so much, right? I participated with Miss Laura Troutman with the facilities walkthrough. So thank you to the staff that joined us. It's great to see everything in person. There's great things happening, and I can't wait until we see our finished product because it's going to look amazing. And I just want you guys to know that you are appreciated, and I am here if you need anything. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Sorry, it's late. I want to welcome everyone back for this year. It's, as we embark on this new year, today it's encouraging to see all the exciting programs that the students have, and the sports programs, the football, the new locker, the new weight room, all of that is so incredible. Dr. Merlos, I have to thank you very much for all of your hard work. It's exciting to see that you've already put together procedures and protocols. I know that that's going to be appreciated and used tremendously. It's exciting to see how much and how hard you've worked on this. I'm looking forward to seeing our progress and the excitement that each of our schools is going to have when our ADA increases and our students are in school. That's the most important thing. We have done so much, and we've made so much progress, and we've created a safe, welcoming learning environment for our students. It's exciting to see how we've all come together and the excitement that we all have. Kimberly, I'm very excited to see the new volunteer programs. I hope that that's working out. I know, I'm so excited. Have you talked to Jeannie yet? I love it. It's a retired teacher that has been waiting and wanting to come. And Hemmerling has welcomed her. She's a second grade teacher. She has so much to give and so much energy. It's exciting to see our volunteer program. Yes, this is something that's very exciting. So thank you for being so open to her. There's so much that we're doing, this vision for the future. I'm just very excited and overwhelmed. So thank you all.
I think my colleagues covered it pretty well. I just want to thank everyone, as always, for all your hard work and your dedication. Showing up every day is not easy, but you guys do it effortlessly. It looks like to me. September started with what I've been telling people, a wrath, and I just pray to God that it turns around for our district and we just keep pushing through, like Ms. Ruiz said. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart.
So I'd also like to congratulate Mr. Calderon. Congratulations. It's very nice to have you on with us. I'd also like to thank Miss Lisa Kistler. Thank you very much for taking that on, helping us. We appreciate it. I'd also like to congratulate Angel Mead. We're very excited to get him on board. And Kathy Kaiser, the Cabazon teacher that that got the special recognition. I think it's well deserved. I have a personal history with her. She was my two younger children's kindergarten teacher, and she is absolutely amazing. So it is well deserved. And then I'd also like to mention that, like Ms. Anguiano said, we did the site visits for the facilities. We saw Hoffer, we saw Nicolette, we saw Florida Street, and the things that have been done are amazing, and there's still more to come. So we're excited about that. And I hope everyone has a really great night. Yes. Item 11.1, future board items. I actually have a couple. So locker rooms. I would like information on that, and when we're going to get those fixed. And then I know I've seen on social media a few times that Aries is not projecting students' grades, and I see that myself. So if we can get an update when that's going to be fixed, please.
And if I may, I would like us to get an update as to when Chromebooks are set out to our classrooms based on grade levels and ensuring that our classrooms have a classroom set. I've noticed it's very challenging for the teachers to provide instruction that requires the Chromebook when our students don't have the chargers for their at-home Chromebooks that they bring on campus. I think that's going to really magnify our what we're teaching our children, as well as an elementary level. So maybe a breakdown by grade levels. That would be great.
The other thing that Anthony said tonight, which concerned me, was the amount of time that we're spending on education in the classroom. And I agree with him. Without knowing how much time we're spending on ELA, math, and science, I saw that some of our science was going down. So maybe we can address that and get kind of a report of what's going on so we can see what's happening. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, the board will reconvene in closed session. The time is 9:07 p.m.
I'll be. Sorry.
And don't wait for us. Ready? Okay.
Jenny?
Item 13.1, report from closed session. Oh, shoot. Yes, I do. Sorry.
Right.
I'm so tired. I'm so sorry.
9:54.
Yeah, at this time, let's see, we are back in closed session. The time is 9:54. Clerk Ruiz, please take roll.
Trustee Angulo.
Present.
Flora.
Present.
Ellis. Present. President Troutman.
Present.
Please let the record reflect we have a quorum.
Report from closed session. Clerk Ruiz, please share.
Item 2.2 in closed session, the board received participation and direction of the user. Item 2.3 in closed session, the board received information and was approved.
Okay, item 14.1, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I second.
I have a motion from trustee Ruiz and a second from,
You can give it to Lucy.
okay, from Ms. Martinez Lara to adjourn this meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. This meeting is adjourned at 9:55 PM.